Hi all my Yarny friends, how are you doing today? Today is a very, very muggy day today in Ontario. I'm a couple hours outside of Ottawa, and I tell you, it is so thick, the air out there. I have one dog that just likes to be outside all the time, and he's a double coated dog, so it shouldn't be a problem, but he's almost 13, so I prefer not to leave him outside. It's just so thick, that air. I've got bad allergies, and the breathing part out there, it's tough. Like, it is tough to breathe. I can't believe it. Like, today is supposed to be, I think, 39 with the humidex, and that's in Celsius. And tomorrow and the next day is supposed to be 40 and 42 with the humidex. And with, I don't know the percentage for the humidity, but it's very, very high. It's just crazy ridiculous, and I thank goodness all the time for having central air. It enables me to be able to breathe better, and my allergies to keep at bay as long as I'm inside. And for all of you that don't know me, my name's Barb. If you're first time here, thank you to all the new subscribers. My numbers are climbing, and I so much appreciate that. I wanted to do a video a little bit about me, a little bit about my work and progress I'm doing, and a little update since I haven't been on in a while. I did a tutorial yesterday, so if you like to do those chair socks or protectors, whatever you call them, or table socks or protectors, I have 3 different sizes that I recorded all in one. If you have a problem understanding how to make them different sizes, if you click on the description box below that video, I kind of explain it underneath there how to break it down to each size. And also throughout the video, you'll get an information also on how to change up maybe your hook size, yarn size, and how many more rows to add to make it the size in circumference around that you need. So check that video out if you're looking to make those. Great video. It's my own pattern I've made over the years. Had lots of requests for it. So I just finished 200 pieces. So there were 50 of them for a friend of mine. She ordered, and I just finished this morning. There was 50. So in order to do the 50, each one takes 4 parts. There's 2. I do the bottoms double thick so that when the chair's on it, that it has a lot of cushion. Okay, so I do 2 of those, and then they're slip stitched together, and then the main body is another part, and then also I do a tie so that you can weave in. So one of the last rows is a holier row, so you can weave in the tie around, so you could tighten them on your chairs. So in case it's a little bit looser than you wanted, you could tie it up. If they fit just right, I have another friend I made 16 of them for last week, and she didn't need any ties. She said they fit just perfect on. She didn't need to tie them up or anything. This is their 3rd set. She's ordered for a set every year from me, so greatly appreciate that. And I wanted to show you those anyway. I have a pile of stuff here, so apologize for switching everything around because it depends on which order I'm talking about things in. But here's the bag full of those socks. Like, this is a bag, and it's full of those 50 socks. So here's the smaller size. She had some chairs that are 5.5 inches around. So there's this guy. I don't have them tied up. You see, I leave a long tie. I had 32 of these to make, and I had 16 of the larger size. These are 8 to 9 inch ones, so they'll fit they'll fit about 8 to 9.5 inches around there. In the video I say they fit just an inch play, but they likely would fit an inch on each side, but I wanted to show you more sizes. So that's those that I actually got finished. I wanted to talk to a little bit. I'm from Ontario, Canada, as I think I just said about my allergies and the weather. So I found quite a few cool different podcasts and things that I've been watching, and I was shocked, almost like in awe, because it's like, oh my goodness, they're from Ontario as well. I would never have guessed that. I'm kind of a fan of theirs, so I'm following a few different people. So as I'm crocheting, I'm watching different podcasts, and I enjoy talking about yarn, and I have nobody around here that kind of really cares to listen. They do listen to me. They have ideas every once in a while, but I mean, they're guys. They don't want to always be talking about yarn. I get it. Just as I wouldn't want to be talking about trucking or cars all the time, but I do talk, listen and try to carry on a conversation every once in a while so that you're involved, right? Me and my husband always say it's nice to have a lot of things in common, but also have some things that are separate from each other, so that you have something to learn off of each other and to talk about. So, because it would kind of be boring if you were both the same kind of people, I think anyway. I enjoy listening to his different trucking stories and adventures that he has on the road, and as I'm sure he enjoys hearing all about the different things. Me as a stay-home wife and mom, my kids are grown up now, but I'm a mom to fur babies now, so I keep busy. I've got suffer with some sinus migraines, and I have fibromyalgia, and I need knee replacements. I used to be a very large woman, and I've lost 150 pounds in the last 2 years, and I need my knees replaced, but they say I'm too young to do it. You have to be 55, so I've got quite a few years left before I can even get my knees replaced. So my personal business is my crocheting and knitting, so I try to help out where I can and when I can, and try to keep busy and keep my mind occupied enough of my everyday aches and pains. So yarn has really been a lifesaver for me, honestly, because suffering with pain every day is not something I wish on anyone. It's not fun. I have good days, I have bad days, I have really bad days, and I have really great days. So, and everything in the middle. So anyone that suffers, gentle hugs to you as well. So I wanted to show you a little idea of what I do, so I know how much yarn kind of that I've used up in the year. Starting January 1st, what I do is each ball of yarn that I get the ball label off of, when I'm done with the ball, I put it in a little container. So I have this bag, and in this bag has bunches and bunches this is from January till today, of all the balls of yarn, complete balls of yarn. Like if I have a half a ball of yarn left, I leave the tag on the ball of yarn and I put it back on my shelf. I just tie an elastic around it or a hair tie or something, and I keep, because I want to know the ball band, the information, the color, etc. But these are all the ones that I've used so far from January 1st till today, which is July 8th, 2020, and that's what I've used. Probably, I would think December 31st, maybe I'll spread them across my living room floor and see how many there is, count them up, maybe see how much the weight is, see how much the yardage is, so maybe how far it took me. That would be an interesting thing. I never thought of that till just now, to see how far from where I live, how many kilometers or miles or yards or meters maybe of crocheting I did. That would be an interesting concept to figure out. I needed a different project other than the chair and table leg cozies there, if you want to call them cozies or socks. I call them socks. So I needed something a little mindless last night because of my allergies bothering me and my sinus headache bothering me. So I just wanted to start something. And I don't know if you've watched my video with one of my Michael's yarn hauls. I showed a bunch of Mandala stripes, I believe it's called. Mandala tweed stripes. I showed you a bag and all the different colors that I had of this yarn and what I purchased them for. was to make a large Afghan, a couch Afghan for my home. So when I'm cold, I can cover up. So I thought of a pattern I did. I'm making somebody else a pattern, an Afghan as a gift, and I'm using the same pattern concept, but I thought with this kind of yarn with the color changes, I wanted it kind of scrappy looking. So I bought 2 of each colorway that they had at my Michael's for this Afghan that I'm making. They had one oddball of one color. So what I'm doing with that is I'm going to either be doing the joining with that oddball, or I will be doing the border with that oddball color. I haven't quite decided what I'm doing with that one extra ball. So here's the squares I did out of this one. So I got out of this one ball these. So here's the first square. I hope you could see it with that light. It's really kind of shining through instead of doing what I want it to do. Maybe you could see it better, yeah, back here. I'm going to block them, so because in the middle they're kind of a little stiffer, but they're 12-inch square. I want them 12 inches because I didn't want to sew a whole bunch of little ones together, but at the same time I wanted the color burst to be large enough to change colors. So this is changing from a red to kind of a grayish blue, then to the blue on the outside. So, and this way I could also tell how many feet across the blanket is. So if I have 7 squares, I know it's 7 foot across. If I have 8 squares high, I know it's 8 foot tall. So that kind of idea. So that's without the border, of course. So that's the first square I got out. Then this was the second. That matches my shirt. It went from the gray to the yellow, then to the red. I guess I started with this one was my first one, because then I've got the red, burgundy-ish from the ball. But this is the second one. And then I was able to get halfway done a third square. Yeah, almost halfway. I say halfway, it looks larger than halfway, but because the outside rows take more yarn, these squares here are 60 grams, 58 to 60 grams per each one. But this one here is 34 grams. So it's just a tad bit more than half. And I got the 2.5. So out of 2 balls, which I have another one of the same colorway, out of 2 balls, I'm going to get 5 complete squares. And I'm not going to have a whole bunch of yarn left either, because I added up the grams, and it's 148 grams I should get total with the 148 grams. Yeah, with the 2.5 that I did here, so plus 2.5 again, I might be left with 4 grams left out of the 2 balls of yarn when I finish. So yeah, I've been puttering away at that. Nice mindless pattern, easy pattern for me, though. These here are just front post stitches, and it's just a basic double crochet granny square, except the front post stitches are triple front loop front post treble, something like that. I'll try to see if I can find the pattern link and put it down below. I'm not sure where I got it. I just kind of wrote it down, and I've did it so many times that it's just out of my notebook, so I don't have to find it each time I go looking for it. So that I've been puttering at that since last night. So last night I finished yesterday afternoon while my video was loading for my tutorial for my chair socks. I did one. I did the second one last night while I was watching Dr. Pole. I watched The Incredible Dr. Pole. I've been binge watching him and kind of crying in the middle. You know, I've got a soft spot for animals. And then the third one, the half one, I just kind of was doing that while I was doing my daily check-in with my mom. I call her every single day. Some days I talk to her for half an hour. Some days, like the other day, it was 4.5 hours. So try to keep her company and chit chat about everything and some days we're just scrolling through Facebook looking at stuff. Some days I'm video chatting her on Facebook chat, and I'm maybe doing my dishes or baking or tidying up or organizing a drawer. I'm doing something that she's just kind of sitting and at her place and video chatting back, doing whatever she's doing. So we're kind of, seems like we're together, but we're not. So it's just I enjoy our little chats. I missed yesterday's because of my headache and doing my tutorial work and everything, so I was super busy. So yesterday was the first time in a long time that I hadn't even checked in, but she always knows she can call me too, so phone works both ways too, right? I have a 1 second. I have a couple of hats that I've did in the last few weeks. I don't know, I think I shared these before. I might have wore one on one of my videos, but I made this hat. This is from Crystal Bag a Day Crochet, one of her patterns. And this is the same pattern, okay, with all the blues, except a friend of mine ordered with, she wanted a brim on her hat. And she liked when I posted about this hat, she said, oh, I love that hat. Can you do it in? And she wanted it in the 3 different colors, but she wanted a peak. So I had to come up with a peak pattern, and she wanted a very wide peak because she used to have a hat, I guess, that wore out that she had. And the only way I could get a peak, and she wanted it to be stiff. Well, I did a double peak, but it still wasn't standing up like when she would put it on. I don't want to put it on. It still sticks out. So what I did was I took, we have at our Costco, we go through a lot of pork rinds being keto. So it's a big round bucket and it's clear. So what I did is I just took the measurement with a piece of paper of how large this was, went onto that bucket, and I did a little bit wider with a permanent marker around, and I used scissors to cut around it. Then I just trimmed it up once it was off of the container. I was able to trim it up so it's smaller, and then I did the single crochet, stuck it kind of in between the two, and then did the single crochet row to seal it all in there. So she's able to throw it in the washer now on cool or warm. But I told her you can't dry it though, because the dryer might get too hot, and that's plastic. So I wouldn't do that. But it's totally washable with the plastic in there. Some people use cardboard. I was going to use plastic canvas, but because the blue was so dark, the plastic canvas, you could see it. Even the clear stuff, you could see right through because it's not totally clear. It's still a little bit on the white side, but you can't even make out. You could see the white, the light blue, I mean, through there, but you can't see the plastic. It's totally clear. So it blends really well. So that's a Bag a Day Crystal pattern, one of her hat patterns. If you're interested to know, get the link for that, just let me know down below and I'll link it up for you. I also, one of my popular things at Christmas time, since we're in the week of the fairy draw, next Wednesday is my draw to pick the person who gets to move on to the big draw. Just so y'all know, the big draws, over 150 channels are involved in it. So that's over 150 prizes going to one winner that wins. So the person's name that I pick goes into the big draw, and if they win, they get 1 out of 150 chances to win. But you could also get your name picked on another channel, so make sure to go check out all the other channels as well, because you could get your name picked 5-6 times if you get your name picked that many times, and then that just means you have more and more chances to win the grand prize. So that winner will win over 150 items mailed to them, or some people are choosing to send them a gift card. Some people are choosing to maybe buy them a Ravelry pattern of their choice, or maybe they have a Ravelry store themselves or an Etsy store and they could choose something that way. So many different things. A lot of them are waiting to announce what, as am I, to see who wins, because it might be somebody that doesn't even do anything to do with yarn. They're just in it to try to win. So maybe it's somebody that does crafts but doesn't do yarn, and they might enjoy something different than a yarn prize. So some of us are just waiting to see that person where they're from, or maybe what they're into, or maybe their favorite color even. So to pick the favorite color of yarn or something. So it just depends on who the winner is. Excuse me one sec. All the talking makes you thirsty sometimes. And as I said, it's muggy, but I got to try to keep my drinking up. That's Diet Pepsi, though. I should be drinking water. I know. I'm just not a water fan. I've never ever been a water fan. I don't know. Even on the hottest days, I've just never been. So I veered off topic. I was talking about Christmas. At Christmas time, I have a lot of people ask me for monogrammed stockings, because they're starting a new tradition with their family where they want to do everybody a stocking with their name on it. So because I enjoy crocheting so much and it's such a quick way to do it, normally that's what I do. So I make these large, they are large stockings, and I usually crochet their name down either the middle. Depends on how large they want the letters or how long the name is too. I've actually had one name where I had to start at the top and go all the way down to the toe. They had so many names. Like my full name is Barbara Ann. That's my first whole name, Barbara Ann, like the Beach Boy song. Ba 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 Barbara Ann. That's me. So if you know anybody with that name, I'd love to know, because not too often that you hear that name. I think I know of 2 people in my life that know somebody that's named that, and one of them, it's their sisters named that, and that's pretty cool, I thought, because I've never met anybody with the same name as myself. I actually was cashier. No, I was a manager at the local Dollarama here at this time. And I was on cash, and I heard somebody say, Barbara Ann. And I went, and I turned, and I was like, wait, what? And then she was talking to the lady behind her. And she went, oh my, and I went, oh my God. I said, you scared me. That's my name. And she goes, seriously? I've never met anybody with the same name as me. And then the lady that was just cashing out at the next checkout said, that's my daughter's name. And I went, oh my goodness. What are the chances? Because I went through my whole life and never meeting anybody and with my first full name. Like I've seen Barb's, I've seen Barbara's, but never Barbara Ann. And I was like, totally okay. That was kind of cool. So, but anyway, that my name I don't think would fit on this unless I made it teeny weeny lettering. But yeah, these are pretty large. They fit lots of stuff. Yeah, they stretch a little bit depending on the yarn you use, how much stretch you get out of them. But yeah, so I get lots of orders for these guys, and I actually started them because on my husband's side of the family, how I ask about family traditions and everything, my husband's side of the family has been doing it since his grandmother was a knitter, and she knit everybody who came into the family a knitted one. You've probably seen them from was it Annie's Attic? I think it's called Annie's Attic, and the pattern is so old. It's from the 70s, I believe, maybe even the 60s. Could have even been before. I don't know. I just remember seeing it for sale, I think, somewhere. And so she used to make these patterns for everybody when they were born, I guess. And then on Christmas, you'd put your stockings up, and then, you know, everybody had their names on the top, and had them filled, and it was a tradition that they just did, and having all their family members, all the stockings. So his grandmother had passed before I came into my husband's life almost 30 years ago, and I never did get to meet her, but I feel like I'm kind of connected to her because I'm a crafter as well, and I've baked her cookie recipes that I've never even tasted before, but supposedly I've made the closest they've ever tasted, his family member, when they would taste into it, when that's the closest anybody's ever gotten to recreating her baking. So to me, that was a connection that I had with her, even though I've never met her. So my husband's aunt, my aunt through marriage, she is a knitter as well. She also, when somebody comes now into the family, she's knitting these stockings for everybody. I've tried my hand at one. I think I failed, but I'm a knitter since I was 9, but I always knitted just things like blankets, scarves, hats, things that were done on straight needles, and maybe a round needle, but never like the multiple needles, and never changing colors, like in a, say, well, I'll just show it to you, and so I could show you what I mean. So I started, I don't know if you recognize it, the Santa one. I don't even know if you're supposed to do it on 2 needles. I have no idea. It's been years since I even picked this project up. It's in a timeout. I had no idea how they got them to stretch so darn much because I didn't know how to carry yarn over. So here's the mess that I did on the back. Look at that. I just kept darning off and then tying knots, and I had no idea how to do the carrying over. So now, since YouTube, this is years ago I did this, like 20 years ago or something, just after my kids were born. They already had theirs, but I was wanting to try my hand at it. So I tried all different ways, but when, I don't know if you could see there, how I carried some yarn, and I just carried it through the back. I didn't even try to carry it in the stitch work. I didn't know how that went. But when you try to stretch it, there's no stretch. So Santa's face doesn't stretch like theirs did. Like the one I have for myself with Barb on the top, it has so much stretch, you could put so much stuff in the stockings, but unfortunately mine failed. So, and I don't really want to take it all out. I don't know. Maybe I should just carry on and just use it for my dog and then start a new one and watch some YouTube videos on how to crochet, or not crochet, how to knit with carrying yarns, so that I could have the white and then the red and carry it through without seeing the red in this white part. I need to learn how to do that. I seen today starts Ron Strong is a crocheter, fellow crocheter, and I think he has some YouTube, yeah, he must have a YouTube channel, and Marley Bird has a knitted one today, and they're both starting a sock hop, I think it's called, or a sock something, and they each have videos out, and there's 3 or 4 weeks worth of doing a sock. So the one, Ron Strong, is doing crocheted and Marley Bird is doing knitting, and I really want to try the knitted ones because I've never knit on anything more than 2 needles, and I really would like to try. Everybody's telling me if I've knit that long that I should be able to do it easily, and I'm just so nervous to start trying. I don't know. Fingers crossed. It just started today, so I think I'm going to dig out my Croy sock yarn that's been calling my name to make, that I got from a tent sale. I got a bag of it at a tent sale a couple years ago, and so I think I'm going to have to start trying that later today. As long as my headache stays away, I should be able to do that. And I'll also do along, of course, the crocheted version with Ron Strong, because I should have no trouble whatsoever getting the crocheted version done. It'll be more the knitting one that'll give me the troubles, I think, because yeah, I think I might be doing some frogging a few times with that. So I'll let you know the next catch up what what I've decided to do. If I've decided to do both, and maybe what I'm using, and maybe show you also. So I'm pretty sure I'll do for sure the crocheted ones. And I'm not a fan of the crocheted socks as much. They kind of hurt your feet because of if you're using a thicker, I guess a thicker yarn like the number 4 or something. But I really like using a larger hook. It's easier on my fingers. So I'm just hoping, I don't know, I have a feeling I'm going to be using a really, really tiny hook with it, with his pattern today. So wish me luck. I think I need it. I think I do. Oh my goodness, I'm dry today. That's my body telling me I need to be more hydrated. I just remembered my husband bought me some electrolytes on the weekend at the Supplement King, so I should get some of that into me. Anyway, I guess that's it for today. I had lots I wanted to talk about, but we're getting up in minutes there, so I'll just leave it at that for today. Look forward to Friday's yarn basket, filming that, and maybe I'll do a tutorial or something tomorrow. I wanted to show you, that's what I wanted to show you, a couple of things that I've did in the past. I was trying to think of ways that I can insert a photo, and I'm not sure if I can or not. If I can, I will insert a photo of something really pretty or funny right now. And if you don't see a picture, that means I failed immensely at trying to insert a picture in the middle of a video, because I have no idea how to even do it yet, or if I'm going to be able to figure it out. So here's one thing I've made. That egg apron that was going around, I made that 3 years ago for a friend that her husband, they're farmers, and it was for Christmas, a Christmas gift for him. So I just happened to see that. I literally have hundreds of projects. I could sit here for a whole video showing you projects that I've did and telling you a little bit about them and where they're from and who they were, who purchased them and things like that. Here's another one I did for a good friend of mine. I think it's her niece, loves rainbow. So she wanted the bunny rabbit with the rainbow colored slippers, bow, and a dress. So I made that for her. That was a fun project. Most of the patterns I end up doing for people, I find they end up asking because, well, patterns for a creator to make takes so much time. So a lot of them are paid patterns, and they do take time for them to type up. So, you know, like here's one. Can you imagine trying to come up with a pattern for these shark slippers? These are infant size. These I sent out west for a friend in Manitoba for her grandbabies. I never did see a picture, but maybe she'll send me a picture of her granddaughter in them when she was little. I've got just so many pictures on here of different projects. It's just amazing. I have did a lot of these pillowed. The main body of these are a square pillow, and it's made with burlap blanket yarn. Super, super cozy. Super large, too. They're like about 4 foot, I guess, from head to toe. But, oh my goodness, they're super cozy. I've made that unicorn. I've made 2 bears. I've made a monkey. And what else? Oh, a pig. Actually, I've got the pig one right here. Speaking of that one, I just passed it. So here's the piggy one. This one was made with burlap blanket, but the home bundle. So I don't know if you'll be able to tell on its snout. It has all the different furs. It's not just the solid burlap blanket. It's the home bundle stuff that has the 4 different textured yarns in it. It turned out beautiful. Oh my goodness. It turned out so nice. So that was the unicorn one. I have photos of lots of different Afghans I've made. We do on my husband's side of the family. We have Christmas in January, and each year we pick a theme or a color. And that year for that Afghan was red. So we bring they're supposed to bring something worth 20 bucks. No, my Afghans don't cost just $20. I pay about $60 to $100 depending on the yarn, and I do them up, but they're a work of love. So I usually make them up we pick in January the color for the next year. So that winter I'm working on the two, one for me that I donate to the pile and one for my husband, because we do this thing where you go around the room and everybody either picks a gift or steals from somebody else. So my blankets are usually a pretty big hit. Here's a couple of bears that I did, those giant bears. These have a pillow also in the belly, made with burlap blanket yarn. They were fun to create, but all these different patterns are paid patterns. Here's some of I was telling you about the names on the socks there, the stockings. So there's the one I did that went from top to bottom, the stocking. I'll just go through one file with you. My aunts went on a local curling thing. It was all curlers from around the world doing, so I don't know if that's a curling spiel or something like that. And they wanted some curling hats, I guess, to wear because they were volunteering. So I came up with my own pattern for a curling hat. And I made a bunch because they were going to take them, and thought they might sell some to people in the audience, and I was only going to charge 20 bucks, but no, I don't know, they didn't end up selling any, or maybe didn't ask people, I don't know, maybe nobody came up to them and asked them. But so I did that. Just go through, I showed you that. Oh, here's one of my favorite little projects I did. This is a frog pattern. This is the pattern it comes with. It come with a little hat, but I changed the hat a little bit, and I invented the pattern for his own little vest, camo vest, to match the frog itself. I did what do you call that? A ladybug. That was a project somebody just messaged me, said their baby was their bedroom was all in ladybugs, and wanted to know if I could create a ladybug toy for them, because they never had they couldn't find anything in stores. I had somebody ask me about a shawl, but they wanted one that was very, very large, very, very warm. So, because she's a very tall woman, so normally when you're making a shawl, you want to make it as arm to arm is how tall they are. Did you know that? From fingertip to fingertip is supposed to be how tall you are. So she's over 6'2", I believe. So I had to make it 6'2" across. And then I made, oh, here's a picture of it sprawled out on my son's king-sized corner to corner with burlap blanket yarn. And she wanted it with, oh, I guess I don't have a picture of it. She wanted it so it had handles. So I did a crochet a loop on each end so she could hold them into her hand so it kind of didn't fall off. I don't know how many photos are in this album, but quite a lot. Maybe I'll go through some more. I'll stop there, and I'll show, if you're interested to see some more projects that I've worked on in previous times, just let me know, and I'd love to do a whole video sitting here and showing you all the different projects I've did, because and all these projects projects I'm showing you have been done in the last 6 years. It's only been just 6 years this month that I've taught myself to crochet. So I did a lot of really creative things, and some of it even before I even thought of taking photos of them, because I was like, oh, I don't need a picture of that, or I ended up giving it away before I got a chance or whatever. So, and some I can't show you until after they're gifted. So I have a lot of stuff done that's ready for Christmas this year, ready for birthdays, etc. And I can't show it on film in case they're watching. So after they're out, I can show you. Maybe I can ask, if they're local, I can ask them to show it on camera. I could show it on camera. Otherwise, I'll have to show it on a photo. So, but I appreciate you spending some time on your day with me, and I really enjoy our chats. I really enjoy the comments, and I have fun with it all the time. So it just makes my day to be able to share a little knowledge, a little fun, a little project, maybe a little know-how. I don't know. Whatever you get from this, I appreciate that you get something at least out of it. So I enjoy spending the day with you. So take care, everybody, and hopefully I'll get another video out tomorrow. And if not, definitely Yarn Basket Friday. I'll be putting one out on Friday for sure, but maybe tomorrow, if I get some good responses about showing you all the different projects that I've created over the past 6 years, maybe that's what I'll work on for tomorrow's video. We'll be showing you a whole going through my album and showing you a whole bunch of different projects that I've worked on. I'd love to show you them all. It's kind of like almost like a grandma showing their grandbabies, because I don't have any grandbabies yet. So it'd be like me showing you all my works of art, so to speak. Anyway, again, I guess I'll say goodbye. I'm sorry for keeping you this long, but you enjoy your day, everybody, and keep on making knots. Bye-bye.